You're listening to Chem Stories, a podcast series created by people with lived experience of PNP chemsex.
Hi, my precious gems. This is Captain Patrice welcoming you aboard Chem Stories Airlines for our YYZ Wisdom Flight. On this fourth Toronto departure, host Bradley introduces Matthew and Reid, two experienced flyers who share their personal journeys and perspectives through chemsex, going beyond common labels. Our flight plan forecasts a three-part conversation delving into the complexities of navigating life and relationships while engaging in PNP chemsex, exploring themes of identity, community, and self-discovery. We'll be on their way shortly, so please make sure to keep your hearts and minds open at all times. Keep your prejudices securely stowed, as this flight is a judgment-free zone, and prepare for takeoff. Should you experience turbulence while listening to this podcast, please visit our list of resources and services related to PNP chemsex in the episode description and on chemstories.ca. Thank you for choosing Chem Stories Airlines, where the journey is always a trip.
So you two are not user group.
I mean, God, as you know how I don't like to tick a box.
We'll unpack a little bit further your experiences with meth use and or chemsex. That's that. So you're the not user group. And so let's start with how you want to introduce yourself as opposed to me introducing you. Like who you are and something interesting about yourself.
My name is Matthew. I'm 45 years old. I'm very proud of that fact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a recent widower. It's challenging. I'm also a grad student at one of the universities in Toronto, where I'm studying criminology and social justice.
And so earlier, when the mics weren't rolling, and I said, "How are you?" You said,
I am
good.
22 pages into a 25-page paper.
About
poetry written by prisoners living with HIV/AIDS and what it represents for street-involved communities living with HIV/AIDS. That's what I'm doing.
Are you enjoying it?
I have written emotionally taxing papers before, but this is a whole new scope of things.
Oh, in what way?
I broke it up, so I did 12 pages on preamble to my actual research and research project and all that sort of stuff, where I talked about my own experience of homelessness and my own experience of incarceration. It's challenging to do that, right? And to tie it into some sort of academic standpoint where you're not just writing a trauma dump paper.
What course are you taking? I'm taking trauma dumps, 506 right now. It's funny. But I do know what you mean about the trauma dump paper. It's just funny to phrase it that way. Is that why you're good, or is there other reasons? When you said good earlier, and I said, how come? Was that where you are at the paper? Is there anything else that is making you good today?
I got laid last night.
And no splits, no acrobatics?
No, that was the last time I got laid. I tell Brad every time I get laid. It's
important.
Right?
Yeah.
I need to boast to someone.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm boasting to Brad.
And how was it?
I was someone's curious fantasy come to life, I guess. He was straight as far as his nickname on the app was concerned. There were boundaries to what he was willing to entertain.
Touch my bum?
Which was beautiful.
Maybe why he was nervous.
And really nice thighs, which was, from my perspective, important. Because it was all good.
Yeah. Cuddling and then...
No. standing in a corner of my bedroom with his pants around his ankle, being like, okay. I'm like, all right, that's how this is going to go.
Did Hamlet like him?
My cat stayed in the living room. We closed the bedroom door and hid from the cat because the cat will attack strangers.
Well, he's seen Mummy pay the rent before, hasn't he? Just kidding. I care deeply about Hamlet. Writing and blowies. It's been a good couple of days for you.
I feel productive. Like I got the major. I did in the last week and a half. I have read 250 poems written by prisoners living with HIV/AIDS. I took that and I made an anthology of 31 poems. And then I took that and wrote a 10-page paper on the relevant themes that showed up in the poetry, which were death, love, prison realities, drugs, mental health, faith, and redemption. It's not like I'm coming up against a concept in criminology that is borrowed from necropolitics, which is like foundationally Foucauldian, I guess. Like that's which is gay as hell.
Exactly. And how are you?
Good, thanks. Very good.
Why are you good?
Because you're STEM? No. Life is good. I guess I have to say who I am now. I'm Reid. I'm 69 years old. And I started using chemicals when in my late 50s, which I'm not using anymore, of course. And chemsex was from my late 50s on. That was the only sex I had.
When did you start using, first, what is chemsex? Like, what is that? I know it's not a community word. No one texts people at 4 a.m. and says, hey, want a chemsex? So I know it's an academic word, but what is it? Like, how do you identify that? If I said define what chemsex is or partying, what is that?
To me, those are two different things.
What's the difference?
To me, because I find this out to my detriment, partying, some people just will smoke meth together and watch porn and jerk off without actually participating with each other individually. And then to me, chemsex is actually with someone else or a group and doing the whole party, doing meth at the same time. It took me a while to understand because I would ask people, well, have you already partied today? Oh, yeah. Have you already had sex today? Oh, no. And it could be with the straight boys that you're smoking meth and just jerking off to watching whatever porns happens to be on.
Are there any other differences in those types of scenarios?
I've never kind of partied I've never smoked on my own. It's always someone coming over and doing it then. I've never just sat around and smoked either.
Was it always connected to sex?
Always.
See, mine wasn't.
What's yours?
Sex was like a novelty that was happening in the periphery of my drug use. But I was lost and crazy and street involved. And then I was drug involved. I thought I had superpowers. I thought I had Justin Bieber's hat and ran up and down Yonge Street.
But did you have his hat?
Well, no one really knows, right? I had a hat.
Wow. Allegedly, we'll say. The jury is still out.
But can you imagine the shock of people as I was wandering up and down Yonge Street going, I have Justin Bieber's hat! Like, to everyone who passed by, from King to Bloor, and then turning around and coming back the other way, and doing that like 5 times.
Why were you doing that?
Because I was manic. I have a diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder, bipolar type, and the methamphetamine use that I was doing while I was living on the street was causing me to have extended manic sessions. Extended, delusional manic sessions.
How delusional? Like what's delusional? What did it look like delusional for you?
I was hearing auditory hallucinations. I was hearing the voice of Matt Damon and Michel Jean, the former Governor
Yes,
General of
from
Canada, who I believe worked for the Orchestra of Monaco, which was somehow this international spy organization. I think at some point in time, I had seen one of the Bourne movies, and I had watched something on the CBC about the Governor General, and it had all gotten mixed up in my head. I thought I was the Registrar General, which is a office of the government of Canada that sends you mail. So I might have gotten mail from the Registrar General. And from that point on, I was the Registrar General. I was lost, delusional, but like quiet about it, right? These were all internal struggles, and there were struggles that I couldn't voice out loud very well.
Because it's pre-diagnosis, did people just think you were sketchy?
Funny. Like, because what I was said was always non sequitur. So I just got this, I was very blonde kind of moment, which is really sexist and a horrible thing to say.
And a horrible way to be treated.
Yeah.
And so sex was the like a second layer that then came into.
I was using the bathhouse as a homeless shelter for the first 6 months I was in the city. So sex just became like, it was just omnipresent, right? It was just like there was always, the people I was hanging around with were not good people. I say that as a judgment on their drug trafficking and mild prostitution ring that they were running and all that kind of nonsense stuff that was going on at street level in those spaces.
You're nodding.
I worked in a bathhouse for 2 years. So it's very obvious. What he's saying is very true, very obvious. There was dealers there on an ongoing basis, and people would be coming in and get their space paid for them and leave within 15, 20 minutes. Even though there's people in the bathhouse there for the same reason to have sex, they still felt the need to either get online, bring someone in, or call someone in. Because you knew if you're going to pay for it, you're going to get it.
What's the positive of that? Which I know is a push in the question. It's a question that pushes our thinking. So what is the positive of that situation?
It's static. It's the same for everyone who gets to Toronto who has nothing and who moves in a queer space. It's a common denominator, and as such can be known, quantified, and learned from, right? We can learn from that experience of moving through street, bathhouse, on the skip, which is the lingo picked up from a friend of mine.
What does that mean?
So
for the folks, what does that mean?
If you're on the skip, you're probably homeless. You probably have a bag with you. You're probably been awake for 4 days. You're probably wandering around the downtown core. You're probably running out of cigarettes. And people do that for literally years.
I remember when you told me that, and why we both love it so much is because I think as gay men, we come up with our own version of something. And so he never wanted to be referred to as homeless, but it was on the skip, which is so gay, which is why I love it.
Couch surfing. You're not homeless. You're couch surfing with friends.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the system, that is the first suggestion that you get. Because I worked at a certain place for homeless who were HIV positive, and they would always say, find someone that you can couch surf with. Well, you can only go through your friends so many times before it's, go ahead.
I like the energy of on the skip, right? Like that there's like
it's not a victim narrative. No.
It's not even that. It accurately symbolizes the energy associated with methamphetamine use, right? like just like that drive to march forward, that whatever that is, that part of the drug.
Mm-hmm.
Some people use that drive to march forward to just piston fuck each other. So there's that, and that's an important facet of it. But I think for a lot of people who get introduced to methamphetamine, the relationship to it is intrinsically linked to their status as homeless people.
My mind is spinning because we went on a tour yesterday of cruising spots in Toronto, a book by Marcus McCann about cruising and the laws and the history around it. And there is so much connection between those on the skip and cruising populations. The same laws are used to criminalize all of that behavior. And in some ways, we are one community, and in other ways, we push each other. Like we have these boundaries and these borders that we put around each other, which I think is, it doesn't matter what.
We do that with chemsex, though.
Yeah.
As well.
In what way?
Well, you've got people who smoke it, snort it, slam it. You know, you do the different variations of it, and one group thinks the other group's worse than the other group. Like people who, even if you only slam once a month, you're worse than somebody who smokes it every day. You're addicted.
You're worse as a
You're
slammer.
an addiction. Right. You're addicted. You're an addict. But the one that smokes it every day is not, because he smokes it.
I don't believe I was an addict. I believe I was a super soldier. Like that's where like it's screwy upstairs for me, right? Like that.
But
that
allegedly
period.
screwy. But in a lot of
But
ways, it's this amazing way of being. Like it's the same thing about with the on the skip energy, that when you talk about the disordered thinking, it's glamorous. And has a gay spin to it that I think is, I don't know. I wonder, do you ever think that that's part of your, what makes you so remarkable?
I think that now to have a decade of my life where I have passed through a complete housing program, where I have done a decade's worth of therapy, where I've been on medications now for a decade. Like, I think, like, looking back on that, there's part of me that is like, yeah, it's fun, right? It must have been fun because it was so out there, but that doesn't also deny the fact that it was terrifying.
Yeah.
And it doesn't deny the fact that it was unnecessary. Why couldn't I get the same shots, the 2 shots that I got in the shoulders that they started giving me at the shelter in Toronto 4 years before, when I was wandering around in the wintertime in Sudbury, Ontario?
And what do you think the answer is?
They just didn't want to give in to me. They just didn't want to give me the medication that was required for me to actually participate in my community. They were forcing me to go elsewhere in order to access care.
What is that action influenced from? Is there a policy? Is there a way of thinking?
It's Bosch's ship of fools.
Which is?
It comes from 1495, where we ship our homeless people and our problem children and our mutant freaks and our disabled people all just down the river with the boat people to sites of pilgrimage where they're either imprisoned or placed in asylums.
And so Toronto is a site of pilgrimage for gays?
Not only gays, homeless people. In the research that I've done for my paper, I learned that most of the time, the number of homeless people in a community exceeds the number of homeless beds available in that community by a factor of 3. So there are 3 more homeless people for every 1 bed there is in the community. Those people have to go somewhere. They literally just have to in order to survive. They will not survive the Canadian winter. They will not survive outside on the street. Either they make the best use of their social skills and they hop from couch to couch in their home community, or they make their way to the city of Toronto. Once in the city of Toronto, they end up on the skip. That's where they end up. And then it's just a matter of time before it's prison. And prison goes prison street, prison street, prison street, prison street, prison street for them. And that idea continues until they actually die. Because the drug use that they're doing is so toxic that every time they use drugs, it's Russian roulette. I don't think that the drugs that they're getting at street level are superior to the drugs that people get when they have more wealth. I think they're inferior to the drugs that people get when they have more wealth. And although other certain communities find amusement in drug use because they think they have safe supply, that safe supply is hard earned. I was used by a drug dealer while I was on the street to test his supply for months.
And how do you know that?
Because once I showed up at his place, they were waiting for me to get there so that I would go first. And then
How long did it take for that to clue in?
10 minutes, because they were really antsy about it.
But how long had you known him?
8 months, something like that. He was one of the first people I met when I came to Toronto. Was dealing drugs in the bathhouse where I was living. Befriended me. We started taking our meals together, so we would leave the bathhouse and do stuff in the outside world together. And that just led to like...
Did you like him?
He was cute.
Did he identify as a gay guy?
Yes,
Oh.
very. But was a macho muscle bottom. So like only wanted to have sex with big muscle macho men.
Which explains why he liked you.
I was I was a crazy twink that I thought for the longest time I just thought he was my bestest friend in the world. Because he was my only friend in Toronto. I had no connections here when I got here. I had been lucid for 4 days when I got evicted from the room I was living in Sudbury. And I got myself my stuff together, packed my bags, and moved to Toronto. But got here with a backpack, my boots, a t-shirt, and that's it. Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. But I don't think that what I experienced is unique, right? I think it's it's a story that is common and it is unfortunately playing out time and time again.
What's not unique about it?
I think that I know, this is once again going back to my research paper, but I know that there are at any point in time between 300 and 450 people, PHAs, living in the provincial system. I'm betting that the majority of those people were just on the skip. That's where they were. And now they're in provincial jails.
And so the link between the skip and the jail is what offense?
Petty crimes, less than 2 years. So these are all shoplifting, prostitution, petty possession. I don't even think that's a crime, but I'm making it a crime because
Sounds like a drag queen.
I just want, like
petty possession. Put your hands together for petty possession.
I like that. That would be my. I think
that could be your drag name.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe this start of a new career.
Perfect. And so, when you stopped, how did you just go, I'm sick of this shit?
No.
Or, I want a better life? Or
I started on meds. And literally was not crazy anymore. And I was like, what the fuck is going on with my life? Jesus Christ. How did I get to Toronto?
What choices have I made? And
it was just kind of like, I moved across town too I moved out of the village and I moved to Kensington Market and I never really looked back.
I'm going to ask you this question only because I've heard the answer before, but It cracks me up. What do you miss about it?
The energy.
I don't know why that's so funny. Because I just have this idea of you being energetic and getting shit done.
Right? But getting shit done at that stage of the game was running up and down the street screaming about Justin Bieber's hat, right? Like,
and the sex is like, the sex part of it is not, there's no, because a lot of people talk about meth and sex in chemsex being intrinsically linked.
oh,
Go on.
I'm gay, I have sex, I was using meth, but I was using meth because I had access to meth, not because I wanted to get my rocks off. I wasn't using meth as a sex drug in order to lower my inhibitions and to provide myself with enough courage to actually be a gay man. I already was a gay man.
And you had that courage.
And I had that courage. So
Which is probably connected to your, my Catholic God loves me.
my Catholic God does love me.
Of course she does.
Maybe.
I mean, why not? What's not to love?
Right?
It's very Bon Jovi. It's my life.
It's my life, now or never. We got to do some karaoke while you have the mics on.
Listen, stand by for that.
Attention all passengers, Captain Patrice speaking. We've reached our cruising altitude. We're now approaching the second part of our YYZ wisdom flight, where Toronto host Bradley resumes his conversation with Matthew and Reid, who share how their experiences with incarceration and the justice system have shaped their perspectives on life and relationships within the world of PNP chemsex. More compelling stories await. Subscribe to stay updated. If you've encountered turbulence while listening to this podcast, please refer to our list of resources and services related to PNP chemsex in the episode description and on chemstories.ca.